Welcome to the final project presentation for UWM InfoST 490, Senior Capstone. This presentation is for Team vape108. Our client is a vape shop located in West Allis, Wisconsin, who is looking to expand his sales and his reach beyond his physical location. Our task was to help him get launched with an online store to take advantage of internet sales. Our client is vape108. Team vape108 consisted of the following team members: Michael Prest, Sharon Morgano, Samantha Miller, Adam Codette, and Kurt Baldwin. Our presentation is going to take a look at a few different areas of our project, including the system itself, documentation for the system, and some of the coding that we did on the back end. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first section, which is system functionality. You know, as a customer, I want to be able to go online and look at the products that this company offers. That's one of our user statements that we can use to help us identify what is our system all about. So let's take a look at what our system offers.
As a retailer, one of the benefits of having an online presence is allow your customers to do research, find out what products you have, and also place orders through the internet that come directly to you without having to visit the storefront. So I'm going to go ahead and let's take us to our site and just kind of show us what kind of features and what kind of things we can do on our vape108 website. So I'm going to go to the URL, which is shop.vape108.com. And take us to the page. A couple of things you'll notice on here. Towards the middle of the screen, you see some different categories. You see mods, you see juice, and when I hover over them, if there are any subcategories that exist, they will populate. My customer is looking for a particular brand of juice that he had purchased a few months ago when he was traveling to a different city, and he wants to see if vape108 has it. He knows that it was manufactured by 503 Juice, so he sees that, oh, that's a category that I can go to. And when I choose that option, then it'll list and give me, just like we're all familiar with most shopping sites, gives me kind of a list of or a view of the different products we have. And when we get here, we do see that one of the products that vape108 does carry is a pomegranate juice, and that's exactly the one that he was looking for. Now, he has a few options that he can do here. He can view the item to see if it's in stock, if they have it in person, if he wants to go visit the store to get that, or if he wants to place an order online, he can do that as well. And then also gives you the options to choose what type of what size of the bottle and what type of nicotine strength does he want. So that's some ways to get some information. You can also add it to a wish list if it's something that he wants to come back to maybe later on and see if he can get. That's an option as well. In order to add it to a wish list, however, you do need to have an account, and if you need to make a purchase, you want to have an account as well. So it's a very simple process to add an account. I'm going to go ahead and just click on the My Account link in the menu bar, and gives me instructions for new customers how to create the account, or if I was a registered customer, how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create an Account, and you see it's very simple. There's just a few fields that are required: first name, last name, email address, and then the password that you would like to use. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my account. I already have an account on this site, so I'm going to go ahead and log in and put in my password. And I'm going to go ahead and, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And it takes you to a site, and I'm going to save this password so I don't have to keep typing it in. And it just takes you to a dashboard for your account where you can edit your contact information. You can also see if you have any orders, what orders you've placed, and get some history on that. You can view your wish list if you would have added something to your wish list as well. So for our customers, that's really how they're going to utilize the tool. or the site itself, they have some options. They can create their account, or they can just use it to navigate and search for products.
Now that we see what the customer expects when they go to our site and how they can navigate and use the tools on there, let's turn our focus over to the client or the owner of the company. As the owner of the company, I need to be able to add a new product that I begin to sell. So let's take a look at how the owner can do that through our site.
Once you set up a new category for a new product line, you can go ahead and now add the actual product into the Magento website. In order to do that, you would go up to Catalog, Manage Products. You would click Add a Product. In this case, we're going to be adding a new juice line. So we would select juice from the attribute set, and we would want to add it as a configurable product. Click Continue, and we would select both the bottle size and nicotine strength as attributes we want into that product. Go ahead and click Continue. So we'll be adding a new product called bubblegum. Now this is a starter product, which means we're not going to go ahead and add the nic levels to this product until later. So what we want is just a base product. In this case, it's just bubblegum. We will go ahead and just simply put in the description and sort description as bubblegum. Now this is what the user will see, so you'll want to add this to whatever your product. SKU, we'll go ahead and add bubblegum. Again, each product will have a unique SKU number. In this case, we're just going to start as bubblegum. But that won't actually show when customers order the product, because when they select the nic level and the bottle size, it will have its own custom SKU. So status, we want enabled. And visibility, we want catalog and search. Next, you want to click Inventory and set the stock availability to in stock. And if we miss anything, which we probably will, in this case, we'll just leave the price blank. But you will see a little red star next to it. So if I went and hit Save and Continue, it's going to ask me to enter in the required forms. So we'll go ahead and do that. In this case, product cost or retail is $6.63, and you can see the tax class also is a required field. So we'll go ahead and select it as a taxable good. We'll go ahead and hit Save and Continue, and the product has been successfully saved. So now we have to add all the different nic levels to the juice line for bubblegum. And in order to do that, we would click Associated Products. And this is where we create the individual SKUs and set the nic levels for the juice line. So in this case, we do not want them to randomly configure the name or auto-generate it. We are going to create our own name for it. So in this case, it will be bubblegum 0 milligram with the SKU of the same. We will set the weight to whatever the weight specifications require and set the status to enabled. And we want to set this to not visible individually. So only the main product that we set initially shows, and this is the configurable products under the drop-down list. For bottle size, it is 15. Nicotine strength, set that as 0 to correspond with the name. And the quantity is 3, and it's in stock. So we will go ahead and click Quick Create, and it will now add a configurable product at the bottom. We'll go ahead and fill out one more as an example of how easy it is just to add or adjust new products as a configurable product. Quick create. Oops, I forgot to set the bottle size. 15 milligrams. In this case, it's 6 milligrams. Quick create. Okay, so now we've added 2 products. We would keep going, but to save time, we'll stop here. But we will show you what it looks like on the website. So you will see the bottle size as well as the nicotine strength. You want to start from 0 and go up in nic levels. So 6, then the higher and higher. So we'll go ahead and save and continue. And it will reset. Here we are. Product has been successfully saved. The one thing that we have to add now is set a category. So in this case, we're going to set it as a juice for blue chip. But we also want to set it as a juice in there. So it'll show up in juice or in just blue chip. It depends what you want. In this case, we'll set it up for both. So we'll go ahead and save and continue. It's been saved. So now, if we go back to the main website, refresh it, and go under, well, first we'll go under juice. And you'll see bubblegum has been added to the juice, but we can also select blue chip and add it, and you can see it's added there as well. So if we click on bubblegum, you'll see the bottle size set to 15 milligram, and the nicotine strength is 0 and 6. So all we would have to do is continue adding new products. We'll go ahead and select 15 milligram, and we'll say 6 milligram, and we'll add that to the cart. And as you can see here, the SKU is unique to the actual selection that we picked.
Now that we've seen at least one thing that a client is going to use this site for, and we will see more as we go through this presentation, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is going to be system documentation. It's important for us to document all the features and functionality of our tool for our client. Once we're complete with this project, the client will need to take over these functions to be able to use our work in the future. Also, as he tries to upskill all of his employees, the documentation is going to come in very handy. So let's take a look at some of the documentation that we've created. One note I will add, some of the documentation is in Word document form, and some of it is in video form. We did that on purpose so that the client has multiple ways of reviewing the information, either in a visual manner or in a step-by-step chart kind of a flow for him to follow, as depending on the technological abilities of everyone at that site. So let's take a look at our first user story. As the owner of the company, I need to be able to upload photos for the products that I sell. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that.
As you saw earlier in our presentation, we were looking at the vape108 website, and we were looking at a product that our customer was searching for, and on the website it gave us a message that says image not displayed or image coming soon. As a consumer, that's very frustrating because they want to be able to get information about that product and see what it looks like to make sure that's the correct one that we have. So one of the things that we also provided for our client for future use is when he's setting this up after this project is over and he needs to go ahead and add new products and or maybe change the image or add images to images that don't exist yet in the site. We have some client operation documentation on some just different functions that they can do, including one of them that I mentioned we would go over, which is adding images. And we walked through going through the Magento admin panel and making those changes to those accounts. And you can see here we have them documented with screenshots for anyone in the future who's going to be at that location to be able to add images. Going to catalog in the menu bar, managing the products, finding the product and clicking on edit, finding the images option in the menu, and just really basically just following the step-by-step instructions on how to do that, how to upload that photo to the website so a customer can go out and actually see the product that they're looking at.
As you can see, the adding images to the site for certain products does appear to be very simple, and that's going to just give our website a much more polished look and satisfy our customers by allowing them to see what they're looking for. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at another situation that our customers may need documentation for. As the owner of the company, I need to be able to ensure that I only sell to adults over 18 years of age. So let's take a look at the documentation that we have that deals with the age verification form that's on the site.
One of the tasks that we had with creating this website was to include some age verification for the website to block access to the site and the viewing of the content from anyone who is under the age of 18, which is the legal age to view this information. For those that did answer, yes, they were over 18, they were allowed into the site. If they were not over 18, then it would redirect them to another site, which we currently had set up as Disney.com. But the owner may want to make changes to that. He may want to change the look of the pop-up box, may want to change the logo. So we have documentation that we created for the owner to do all of that, and this just walks them through these steps on how to configure that document. I'm just going to go ahead and show you what we have in the documentation. I'm not going to walk through all of the steps, but it is listed in here, and this document will include the following topics. We'll tell them how to turn on and off the age gate verification, how they can set the expiration of the cookies for the verification period so that the pop-up can occur more frequently, or it could be a little bit slower depending on the owner's preferences. Flexibility to select what pages the pop-up is required. They may decide in the future to add some just general information pages that doesn't have any content that would be restricted to minors, and they may want to turn off the age verification for that. Setting the text for the agree and disagree pop-up buttons, define images, as I mentioned before, and set that redirect page. So in this document, again, it'll walk you through the steps on how to configure the settings. The settings are configured on the back end of the Magento admin panel, so it requires them to log in using their username and password and selecting the configuration option. And in the menu on the left side of their screen, there will be the age gate pop-up verification settings, which they will choose. In this document, again, we do have all of the documentation as to how to accomplish all those tasks that were mentioned at the beginning of this document in here, and this is provided to the owner where he will be able to go back and configure any of those pages as he sees fit in the future.
Keeping our clients safe from the law when in regards to who can access the site is very important. And as you can see, the documentation makes it very easy for them to update that age verification if things would change in the future. Let's take a look at another type of situation where we have documentation for. This time we're going to look at it in a video format. As the owner of the company, I need to be able to control who can access the site to make updates. Let's take a look at what that looks like.
Sometimes it's necessary to create new users that have access to the back end of your website. In this case, we have to create a new back end login information for a plugin for the shipping API. So to create a new user account, you would go to System, Permissions, Users. And you can see the list of existing users. So click Add New User, and you will set up a new user. In this case, we're going to call it Stamps. And we will call it Stamps.com. Email address, shipping@vape108.com. current admin password and set up a new password for this one. In this case, we'll set one up. Current active. So we want to assign a user role to this new account. In this case, we want to set it up as an administrator. Just click Save User. Oh, need 7 characters. Okay. That should be long enough. Whoops. And now we have a new user saved and ready to go for stamps.
Knowing who has access to the back-end systems is very important, and as you can see from that last video, very simple to manipulate. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more documentation. This time, as the owner of the company, I need to be able to update the site with new categories of products. Let's take a look at that one.
In order to create a new product or a new juice line into the Magento website, you'll have to create a new category. In order to create a category, you would go up to Catalog and Manage Categories. In Manage Categories, you will see a list of your front-end store. You will see all the juice lines, as well as the different categories. To add a new juice line, you would simply click Juice and add a subcategory. Under the subcategory, you would type in the juice line. In this case, we'll type in Blue Chip. You want to set it as active and include it in the main navigation menu. Correct. And then you would click Save Category. As you can see, Blue Chip is added to the juice category. So if we went to the front end of the website and refreshed it, you will now see the Blue Chip added to the juice line. To change the arrangement of categories, all you have to do is click on the category, hold it down, and drag it to the position you want. In this case, we'll bring Blue Chip up to the second from the top. We'll go ahead and hit Save Category, and then you'll see it's on the bottom, and all we have to do is refresh it, and it now puts it second from the top.
Sometimes it's not just adding a new product to the website, but it's also maybe adding some new attributes. So let's take a look at another piece of documentation that we're supplying to the client. This time here, as the owner of the company, I need to be able to add new attributes such as a new bottle size. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that.
Managing attribute sets is fairly straightforward. However, if you have a new juice line and you need to integrate new attribute sets like increased nick level or a different variance of nick level for a juice line, you're going to have to edit that through the attribute set. In order to do that, you want to go up to Catalog, Attributes, Manage Attributes. In the attribute list, you'll see the juice bottle size as well as the juice nick level. If I click on juice nick level, you'll see all the configuration for the juice nick level, and then you'll see Manage Label Options. If you click on Manage Label Options, you will see all the listed nick levels for all juice lines that have that attribute. In order to add a new attribute, all you would have to do is hit Add Option. In Add Option, you would type in the nick level that you would like. In this case, it's going to be 18 milligrams, and we're going to classify that as strong. Oops. Now the position does matter So you can see we're going to have to put that in between 7 and 8. So in order to do that, we would change the position to 7, and then, oops, to 8. And then we would have to change that one to 9. So it would appear right after the 15 milligram. So we would go ahead and hit save and continue. And it resets. Then you would just go back to manage label to verify that the NIC level is added. So now when you add a new product, that NIC level will be there.
As you're able to see in that last video, creating some new attributes definitely is something that the client will need to be able to do, in addition to what we saw prior to that as adding products. We are providing the client also additional documentation, videos and documents that are not being presented in this presentation today, but letting them know a lot of the other minor functionality of the Magento website so that they can use it to their fullest advantage. We're going to go ahead and move on though to our last section of this video, which is going to help us understand how did we get to that point. And that information is all about the system code. In this section here, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the background coding that was needed to be done via PHP, via CSS, and via HTML that was done on the site, as well as some information about how the site is hosted. So we'll go ahead and move on and see, first of all, the overview of the hosting of the site.
The code that makes up the vape108 e-commerce website currently sits on GoDaddy hosting under the domain shop.vape108.com. Currently it has 23,000 files on it for the toolkit, and if I go actually to the file manager, you can see all the files there, and from there it acts as an FTP connection. You can change and edit the files directly through their file manager, or you can actually use an FTP connection using FileZilla or another application. In order to set up the e-commerce site, we had to set up a database, a relational database, and we labeled it vape108 Magento, and the size is currently 17 megs, and we have the team who all have admin privileges to make modifications to that relational database if needed. And the relational database is here, basically shows all the tables created during the installation, and you can see I've hit admin users, and this is basically back-end logins to the actual website. So that's a brief overview of the actual installation and the code.
In addition to hosting the site, it's also important that the site looks pretty and is easy for the customers to use. So let's take a look at some of the CSS updates that we had to make.
For our CSS design, we decided to go with a free design through the Magento Connect Marketplace. And one of the benefits that the CMS has is the ability to really kind of plug and play install the themes without having to do a lot of back-end CSS code work. And then for vape108 especially, they don't have the tools or resources to really hire an outside web development team to custom design their theme. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for them to not only change the website front face, but also customize it to their liking without having to know how to custom design CSS themes. So as you can see here, we picked a theme which was based off of a jewelry store, and one of the nice functionality of the Magento website is the ability to basically copy the installation key for whatever design that they want to choose in the website and log in through their downloader, which is, as you can see here, there's a downloader. So I'm going to go ahead and log in just to show you the downloader. And these are basically all the extensions and plugins that you can manually add into the website. So what we did here is we basically put in the web address and clicked install. The extension basically popped up here, said ready to install. You clicked the proceed, and it basically installed it, and it gave you a rundown saying that it was successfully installed. So once that was installed, it actually was added to the back end of the website. And from there, we had to basically enable the theme in the website and on the back end. And I don't believe I have it here, but I'll pull it up real quick. Okay, so here we have the CMS and also the installation. If I go under configuration on the system, it has the theme that was actually installed. It's basically a verification that that plugin was added, and then from there we had to go to the actual design configuration and enable that theme as the default theme directly in the website here. Once that was enabled from the back end, that was pretty much it for the theme. Now we had to customize the theme. In order to customize the theme, the back end gives a nice, easy way of putting in static blocks that allow you to customize the main theme. And I'm going to go ahead and show real quick on how we added that theme and customized that theme. So once we enabled that theme, basically this was the default website, the static look of it, which changed it quite dramatically from the original design or the default design. So I'm going to just, for an example here, just show the home slider here. And you can see here it kind of gives a visual representation of, you know, what that actual widget looks like on the website, and it's basically one of the three here. In fact, I think it's this one right here. So we wanted to give the client an ability to change that and customize it without really hard coding it or hiring somebody to do that. And to do that, basically all we have to do here is change or edit the actual photo. So if I right click and go insert or edit image, it's going to ask me, well, okay, well, where do you want it? You can go through there, or you can, let's see here. We can browse for the image here. So here's the image URL that's already in there. We can set it to any URL we want, but in this case, Magento has the ability to basically plug and play. Throw in photos directly into like a storage root directory of the website, and that can be added directly. They can take a picture, put it on their hard drive, and then just upload that file directly. So here, if we hit browse files, you can see I can add a bunch of different files or into that actual website. In this case, I've already added one, which was right here. So we're going to go ahead and use that and insert that file. Then we'll go ahead and hit update. Oh, it's asking for an image description, so we'll go ahead and say, yeah, it's new vape line. Okay, we'll go ahead and click update. And then as you can see here, the actual image has changed. The sizing is a little bit different, but again, it'll just put a little white space in it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue here real quick, just to show you how easy it is to change it. So now when I refresh the main website, you can see, well, they've got an image that they can change right there. We can actually go into the HTML if we want to, into the CSS, and change the store URL so we can make that a clickable link if we want. We can also change the layout of how it looks directly on the website. So if, for instance, this is, you know, it's offset a little bit, they want to center that, all they can do is select the image, and through the tools, the back-end tools, center that, save and continue, and then when they go to the main website and refresh it, you can see it's now centered. So this applies to basically every block in the theme. So if I were to go, we'll go back here now, to each one of these blocks, each one of these is customizable. So they can add or change the Call Us Today module, which is right up here. They can change these picture modules. Everything is customizable through the back end, and that's how we want it. It was basically as plug and play as possible, but also giving that functionality of manually editing the CSS theme if you needed to. So it has the power and functionality of both.
In addition to making the site look pretty for our customers, the client also required some functionality to allow him to be able to ship the product out to the customer. So an important piece of the project for our client was integration with stamps.com and allowing them to create shipping labels, which did require some coding on the back end, as we're going to see now.
Stamps.com has created a nice little PHP plugin that integrates with Magento for all shipping information. So we'll be able to batch report all the shipping orders from Magento directly into the Stamps.com API. But in order to do this, we have to add the PHP to the back end of our website and then set it up through the application. So in order to set up this PHP, we have to put it in to our main website. So we'll go ahead and do that through an FTP connection to the website. So we'll go ahead and add that over to the main root directory of our website. The requirement for the Stamps PHP requires a HTTPS connection. So you have to make sure that that certificate is issued for the website in order to work. Once we uploaded it to the website, we can now begin integrating it into the Stamps.com application. In order to do that, we have to manage data sources and go to Add Source. We have to create a new data source. In this case, we're going to be creating a new Magento data source. We'll go ahead and label the store vape108 Magento. Here we have to provide the secure store location address with the stamps.php that we uploaded to the website. In this case, it's shop.vape108.com, stamps.php. And we created a special user just for this called Stamps. We'll go ahead and continue. And the profile's been successfully configured. So now that we added the web store to our application, we can begin batch processing orders directly into the Stamps.com for shipping label printing. And as you can see, the Magento vape108 store is now added to the batch processing. So once we do have orders, all we have to do is click Import Orders, and orders will populate the list for printing and shipping.
Alright, as you can see throughout these videos, try that again. Okay, that'll get cut out. That means it'll get cut out. Take two. As you can see through those last couple of videos, some of the back-end coding to make the site work a little bit better for our client was really all done to make it easier for him to use our site and use, take three, 32 seconds or something like that. As you can see with all the videos that we went through, the Magento interface is very easy to use, and with our client and our documentation and in meeting with him and sharing the information with him, try this again. Take 5. As you can see with all those videos that we showed you, trying to walk you through the steps that the client will use. Try it again. As we went through all of those videos, including the stamps.com and the CSS files, the hosting information, in addition to the documentation that we put together, I hope you can see that we did our best to try to make this as easy for the client as possible, and giving him some tools that he can use with his team in his location and help him increase his online sales around the world. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this presentation. Thank you very much for joining us for today. Again, this was Team Vape 108 UWM Info ST Course 490 Senior Capstone presentation. Everyone have a great day.